Oh, hi! I'm McWilliams, Indigo Arts, and today I'm here at Swinton's Art Supplies, checking out all of the different types of watercolor paper. So this is an episode of the tools behind the trade. And here we go, we're gonna break down everything about watercolor paper. So you can see the confusion. Look at all of these drawers here. And if you see the labels on the drawers, they have a ton of different information, which can get kind of confusing. And you know what? This is just one brand. So our Arches quality paper is top notch. It's so good. I'll break that down more later. But 90 pounds, 140 pounds, 300 pounds, cold press, hot press, rough. What does all that mean? All right, so now we're back into the studios where I'm going to break down the very first and one of the most important things that you need to know about watercolor paper. The paper weight. What does that mean? I want you to think about the size of a watercolor piece of paper. It is 22 inches by 30 inches. Now when you go to a store with watercolor paper, you're going to see three different types of weights: the 90 pound, 140 pound, and 300 pound. What does that even mean? I don't know. Actually, I do. That's why I'm making a video. So each of these paper weights, when you have 500 big sheets of watercolor paper, which are 22 inches by 30 inches. So when you have 500 of them all stacked up, they will either weigh 90 pounds, 140 pounds, or 300 pounds. Now, if you think about this for a minute, that 90-pound paper, that's a big difference from the 300-pound paper. So that 90-pound paper is actually really, really quite thin. The 140-pound paper is a little thicker. The 300-pound paper, it's thick. Let me just tell you, it's like a thick piece of card. You can't even bend that sucker. No. Now, why do they have these different types of weights? 300-pound paper is fantastic because it's so thick when you paint on it with your watercolor washes. Because remember, we're using watercolor. And with watercolor, we need a lot of water. So watercolor paper, I want you to imagine it's like a big sponge. So as soon as you add water to it, it expands. Now that 300 paper, when it's expanding, it's still gonna relatively lay flat. The 140-pound paper, when you add a whole bunch of water to it, it's gonna expand, but it may start to buckle, which means you might see some waves kind of in it. The 90-pound paper, when you add a lot of water to it, forget it. It's done, it's done. It's all over the place. You got peaks, you got valleys, you can't even paint on that. I can't work with it. As you can see, the 90-pound paper is not my favorite. 90-pound paper though, has a lot of really good things about it. Fantastic for drawing, oh my gosh, any types of drawings. Pencil crayon, fantastic even for doing a little bit of charcoal or pastel. If you're at the point in your life that you want to start making prints of your paintings, 90-pound watercolor paper, perfect. But that's kind of it. So 140-pound paper, if you don't stretch it, you will notice that it will buckle a little bit. You can still work with it though, but that 300-pound, it's the pièce de résistance. It's the best of the best, the cream of the crop, but it's also a little bit pricey, right? So price point wise, the most inexpensive to the most expensive. And it makes sense, right? You're paying for the paper weight. I hope that made sense. That breaks down all of the ideas behind the paper weight and why you would want to buy it.